We are going.
All right, listen.
All right.
So
Here we go.
I'll put y'all on game, right? So we had this running thing where we've been taking tally on who loses points throughout the game. So whenever he mess up, you can take a point from him. Whenever I mess up, take a point from me. I don't mess up the alpha, right? So you can take a point already because he was late getting here. You know what I'm saying? We always here before him. So you all can take a point from SMED for him being late. You know what I'm saying? Like everything should have been made for y'all for the time y'all got here. So,
Okay.
yeah, so SMED, they're going to deduct a point.
I just like.
How many points we get here?
There's a scripture. It says, "Don't argue with the fool." From a distance, you won't be able to tell who is who.
Okay. You know what? I heard Jay-Z quote that, but all right, close enough. He gonna say in scripture. He took it from Jay-Z.
That's a proverb, Jay-Z. Now you want to give the credit from King Solomon to Jay-Z?
I do.
How dare you? But to take a point from Beanut, we're taking King Solomon stuff and giving it to Jay-Z. But we are live, and you came on hate me. So can we come with a viral question of the day?
Okay, so viral question of the day. I mean, we got a lot of things going on in the world. I mean, that interest, mental health, stuff like that. So I would like to talk about Black China. Man, did you see Black China fight?
No.
So listen. So Black China, for a lot of people who are not abreast of the situation, she's like the bonus Kardashian at this point, right? Okay. She's like the one that was hanging around with the dude, and then the dude left, and she's still hanging around somehow, right?
Yeah, she really.
So she's still doing bad to the point where she actually gets to a celebrity boxing event, right? But she is crying out for like mental health, right? So how do y'all feel about celebrity boxing? Have you guys ever watched one of those before?
You know what? I haven't. You know, I haven't heard anything about that, but I'm gonna have to check that out. But you said that's a cry out for help, huh?
Take a
Some
point
type
for
of desperation, huh?
Take a point.
I can't ask about that.
Take a point from Peanut for asking y'all about some shit y'all never heard of.
Man.
We all may need a little mental health help every now and again, man. You know, we all go
This
through a
was
little
man like
something.
about. Let's talk about gas at the pump.
Thank you. That's something that we all. Who's to blame for gas prices?
You know what, man? I don't even know.
Yeah, that's a good question. Who is to blame? I want to know.
Who is to blame? Because I do remember before Obama got elected into office, George Bush was in office. And right at the tail of his presidency, gas prices did something similar.
Mm-hmm.
They shot up so high that it felt like it was choking the life out of just the regular people who can barely afford when the gas prices are what we're considering to be normal.
Right.
And I seen so many people up in arms pretty much blaming George Bush and Dick Cheney and Halliburton for these gas prices. And I felt the same way at the time. But now we got Biden in office, and I don't see that same type of outlook to look towards the leadership of the country. So is it Biden's fault about gas prices?
Oh my God! So I just saw this the other day on Reddit, right? So in a different country, it's not the same prices, right? Mm-hmm. And it could be the same exact oil company, for example. I'm trying to find. I know I screenshot it.
Well, while you find that, let me. How do y'all feel, bro? And we'll start with you.
Man, I think it's a multitude of reasons. I don't think there's one reason why the gas prices are so high. I think if you look back when George Bush was president, I think we were less globally focused. I think now we're in a global economy and we're being sucked right in. I heard where the OPEC producing countries, the oil producing economic countries, acronym for it is OPEC. They had a meeting to try to drive down the price of the oil, through lowering the price of barrels of oil. Russia, which is Europe's largest producing oil countries, you know, the war with Ukraine is causing oil prices to rise. COVID has something to do with it. And I'm not, in no stretch of the imagination, an economist, so I don't know the particulars or the nuances of it all, but I would imagine it's several different factors that's weighing in on the price of gasoline at this time. Also, you know, we can't negate the fact that it is summertime and people tend to travel more in the summertime, and prices on average go up quite a bit. I don't have the aggregate data to present to say how much they go up, but they do go up as well.
I think
Right.
That's
So-
a great point.
So I found it. It says in Libya right now, gasoline is cheaper than water. The price of a liter of gasoline is around 0.03 US dollar, like 11 cents per gallon. And they fill up their tank for like 40 liters for like less than like $1.20. But also like another thing that affects the gas price is like the oil reserves, right? Because a lot of times we had oil reserves. So I remember when they had the first talk about how gas prices are getting over astronomical. Joe Biden said, okay, well, we're going to allocate more oil for this. But to me, it's still not going to keep up with how much we're using compared to how much we're refilling into the pool of that. So to me, I mean, and then it's price gouging. I mean, this is a system where they don't care about making money off the sick, the blind, or the dumb. So they're gonna make their money hand over fist.
So they don't care if you're moving around or not, huh?
No.
Yeah, but I would just say it's outrageous.
Yeah.
And depending on what you're driving, it's a lot.
Yes.
Yes.
For sure. So a lot of these contributing factors can start to hit your pocket, and then now you're feeling down. This runs to the realm of mental health, right?
Well,
Right.
I'm pretty sure, yes. That can have something to do with it, paying all this money for the gas and it's getting to your mental. And before the gas was even this high, if I can keep it real honest, gas has always kind of been high. You know, it's just enormous right now.
Right.
But just the mental state of worrying about refilling your gas tank or how much gas you have in your gas tank or having the money to refill it, and when you don't have it, yes, that can cause a problem, you know. I've been driving back and forth to Columbus for like 3 months. I had a job out that way in Columbus, painting a house. You know, I do a little painting.
Yeah.
And before that, it was at about $4.50, $4.30, and it went all the way up to this $5 mark. And just to travel back and forth, it just doesn't add up, man.
Yeah, and to me, I find it kind of weird because it kind of been this influx of black people getting their CDLs and they're starting their own transportation business, and now they want to jack up the prices. I'm like, it seemed a little weird to me. Like, I mean, like, you know, so like Beanut, for example. You know what I'm saying? Beanut is investing in getting a truck, and for him to now like a very first business starting out, I mean, you don't really expect to turn a profit. How you gonna turn a profit if like in your projection it was gonna be $4 or less?
Right.
Now you paying 5, 6, 7. Ain't no telling how much he gonna end up paying eventually just out the life of the vehicle.
Right.
So to me, I find it kind of weird. All right.
Yeah, my brother drives trucks. He delivered pickup cars,
Yeah.
and I was with him yesterday. He said it takes $1,200 to fill up his tank. So I'm complaining about $100 in my pickup truck going back and forth to Columbus every 3 days, 2 days. He's putting $1,200 in there every other day or so.
Which will contribute to the rising prices of all things.
Of all things, exactly, because everything comes on a crate. So that thing
Everything's
getting
got to
shipped.
get shipped. Everything getting moved some type of way.
Did you see the thing on the news yesterday where they talking about everything that's getting slim, but they're projecting it as the same size, but if people are not paying attention, they call it some type of shrinkage.
Yeah.
And it looked like the same size, but if you're paying attention to the ounces, it's something totally different.
Right.
They pulling the wool over our eyes, but there are certain ones with the eyes open,
Yeah.
and we're paying attention. But one way or another, they're going to get it.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to make a way.
Now, they've been getting away with it for like a long time. I mean, I remember if you don't remember going to the corner store and like getting like $1 bag of chips.
Yeah.
Or like 25-cent bag of chips. Now you get 3 for $20 for like $1. Like, wait a minute, you used to get 4 and they super small. Like, yeah.
Hey, but you know what? Do you remember the story Grandma used to tell you? I used to go to the store and get a candy bar for a dime.
Yeah.
They telling us that story as we young children.
Yeah.
And you looking at them like, yeah, right. But now we can say we used to buy a candy bar for 35 cents, 40,
Yeah.
50 cents.
Right.
Now they over $1.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, but the kids today, they think that's normal. So think about what they're going to be telling their kids. We used to pay $1.10 for a Snickers. Now they paying $2.50.
Yeah.
That's why Arizona team will always win. They always keep theirs.
They stay consistent with the price.
They stay consistent with the price.
What is that, 99 cents?
99 cents.
Hey,
Baby.
you know what?
$1.06. They doing the taxes on it.
You know what? They listening. Don't be surprised you go back this week.
It's definitely going.
That $1.50.
No. It's gonna be the same price. They're gonna shrink that can like you said.
Right.
It'll still be tall. Yeah, just longer. Yeah, just taller.
One thing, man, we can do, man, to curtail a lot of anxiety, man. You know, anxiety deals with future-related events. Depression deals with the past-oriented events. One thing, man, that we have got to be more consistent with, man, is to prepare ourselves and to prepare people that we're responsible for, such as family members, such as neighbors. You know, they say proper planning prevents poor performance.
Correct.
And so, man, we've got to go back to the bare roots of this, and this is what's preserved black people. This is what's made black people, man, so resilient. I should say poor people.
Yeah.
Because, man, during the height of the Great Depression in the 30s, man, you know, you had people of wealth, man, committing suicide at an alarming rate.
Yes.
You know, it was because they had acquired a lot of things, and they had been acculturated and things of that nature within our society, and so they were losing. Things looked very dismal. But to people of a lower socioeconomic status, man, we've never had a whole lot that will cause us to feel depressed and to feel overly anxious.
Yeah.
But still, man, we've got to be in the habit, man, of putting away for a rainy day. You know, preparing 6 months, 3 to 6 months of savings, man, so that when things like gas prices go up, you know, if we spend our monies frivolously and not properly manage them, you know, then we're not stuck worrying about $6 worth of gas.
Right.
You know, we're not stuck worrying about $5 gallons of milk. And so we can decrease the depression. We can decrease the depression and anxiety we may otherwise feel just doing a couple of smaller things.
Absolutely.
And again, proper planning prevents poor performance.
Yeah.
And you know, we got to get in the habit of encouraging each other to do that.
And also,
let me ask you this though, bro. So when you do have money, because everybody has, you know, rich people have anxiety about losing money. Poor people have anxiety about trying to get it.
Right.
So when you see these things happening, you can prepare yourself as much as possible. For example, I went to Siebenthaler today, and it was desolate. I mean, it was barely any. And this was the shopping center in Siebenthaler. You know, I see just a few cars up there, but there's a lot of people up there open for business. And like when you have a business like that, you can promote, you can do it all that you can, but when people are having to choose between, man, like the bare necessities of basically being able to get back and forth to work, the money that they might have in order to come and just break a little bread with something that they don't need but they want, but they really can't afford it right now. Like, what's the best way to get over those type of mental hurdles when you see these things unfolding right before you?
Man, that's an awesome question. You know, I don't want to get religious or spiritual on anybody, but the Apostle Paul, he says, I've been both base and I've been abound. But in all things, I've found the secret to life is to be content. You know, the Apostle Paul said that he was both Jew and Gentile. He spoke several different languages, and so he had experienced great wealth, and also he had experienced great poverty. And so he was just saying, again, the secret to life is being content with what you have in whatever situation that may come. And so it revolves around how we think. It's our thought life. Apostle Paul says, or the book of Proverbs says, as a man thinketh, so is he. A lot of people in the social sciences field and mental health counseling, we always go rah, rah, rah for Carl Rogers and Sigmund Freud, but the greatest philosopher in the world and cognitive behavioral therapist is Apostle Paul. He says to think on these things which are good, which are just. If there be any virtue in these things, to think on these. So we've got to train ourselves on how to watch what we think. If we're thinking about negativity all the time, exactly, we're going to begin to act out. You know, we think a thought and then we act out based on that thought. thoughts are as real as this table here. And when we think of thought, there's actually a physiological process that actually takes place. You know, it happens at a molecular level, but nonetheless it takes place. And we've got to grab those negative thoughts because that's what controls our thinking.
That is true.
And so if we're thinking positively, you know, despite what situations that we're confronted with, you know, gas prices high, the crime rate going up, they say unemployment is zooming, you know, but everybody's not on that wave, you know. But despite those circumstances, if we can just, you guys, man, made a good point before the show started. You guys would say, hey, you know, let's be positive. And that was awesome. That pepped me up, in fact. So if we could get people, man, thinking positively, you know, as opposed to negatively, you know, because when you think negative, you know, that's where, man, that depression, because it's about fear. Exactly, it's about fear. You're dealing with fear. Fear manifests itself through depression, through anxiety, through all sorts of the mental health disorders.
Absolutely.
You talk about bipolar, opposition defiant disorder, conduct disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder. And so all these things are really rooted and grounded in fear. So fear is rooted and grounded in how we're thinking and how we're processing. So again, it starts at the base of how we're thinking. And we can control what we think. We don't have to accept negative thinking. We don't have to accept it. If you have a negative thought, you can stop it right there. You can stop that.
5 seconds.
So I want to ask you now. So I mean, like we know that in a, you know, what I'm saying, like once you grow to that understanding, then you can have that, you know, so like that mind state. But the problem now is children now growing up with the phone in front of their face, and then like they're being told what is cool, what is not. Back in the day, it's like you either liked it or you didn't. Now, like you're gonna have another species of people. Not saying people are gonna be different, but their mind state is gonna be different from ours because they're gonna have the perception of everything I need to do needs to be outward.
You know, we change your perception. That was old school stuff, man. Somebody told me a sermon lived is way more effective than one preached. So we've got to start living what we want to see the children project. So we've got to start projecting the way we want other people to live. You know, and so we can't say one thing and do another. You know, we've got a bad habit of doing that as human beings. And so, man, it's going to take some tough calls. It's going to take some sacrifices. But I mean, we can do it. You know, it's like raising children. You know, in your home. You know, you have to be an example to those children. You know, because they're going more than likely. I mean, not always. There are anomalies in every instance. You know, but generally speaking, you know, children are going to do what people are going to do. What they're going to model is the technical term, mental health term is modeling. They're going to model that behavior that's been placed before them more than likely.
So I would like to ask you. So like, is it more nurture or is it more nature that represents that person that you see in front of you?
It's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both. Again, a sermon lived is way more effective than one preached. The nature versus nurture, I won't say it's an argument because it's actually a validated theory that a lot of theoretical principles are grounded and rooted in. But yeah, I mean, we know Ben Carson. He came out of the quote unquote the ghetto, and we have tons of people who came out of the quote unquote ghetto, and they become, you know, so you know you can say that's that nature versus nurture argument. But I mean, it exists, but we can't put too much, and it's valid, but we can't rest everything on that. Some principles we can, but not all principles.
So to me, I do like that. Like you didn't choose one side or the other because to me, I think they're both have, you know, so like a hand in it. Right. And then to me, like the X factor is, to me, you know what I'm saying, it could be a coach, it could be your dad, it could be your grandmother, it could be that one person that cared about you enough to put that extra spark in you. is the defining factor between nurture and nature. It's
To-
not
powerful.
And
It's
to
powerful.
piggyback on
Good stuff.
what you were saying, bro. Like I have thought of just a formula for success, and it's an equation I wanted to try to put together, and it's vision plus action equals attraction. And when you have a vision, and then you act on it with faith that it's going to actually manifest itself, it makes you go harder in order to bring these things to manifestation and materialize. And the greatest gift that the Most High gave us all was the ability to think things into existence. Like me and my bro was talking, we like, dang, where could I find $1 million? Right here.
Oh my God, yeah.
You got the $1 million that you want. It's
Gotta have the vision
right
first.
here.
Yeah.
But people are such in scramble mode in order to basically fend themselves off from the things that life is throwing at them. They're not directing themselves properly enough in order to direct their own path. You can go wherever you want to go. You just have to drive there. And the drive isn't more just a car. It's like your actual drive in life to go where, and like, bro, like, man, I promise, man, the things that you were saying was so on point. Like, we definitely gonna chop that up as a clip to just play it back,
Yeah, for sure.
because you were so right about everything. I'm not even sure if any of these things, like even you guys, actually exist.
Oh, here we go.
You could just all be just a part of this program that I have worked up for myself. And the good things that happen to me are a result of my thinking. The bad things that are happening to me are a result of my thinking. It works both ways. You attract negative and
Facts.
positive
Facts.
into your life by how you think and what you expect.
See, when people started speaking the way you're speaking, and they're like, "Oh, he's far fetched," but if you really think about it, you're right.
Yeah.
And you're right too, because we were just talking. We are more likely to think negative
Yes.
than positive. And I have learned. The first thing, if you don't think that's true, the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning, have a notebook and pad. What's the first thing to come to you in the morning? I don't care if it's, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this, I got to do this. We've already put ourselves in the mind state of panic, fear, pressure, whatever you want to put it. And that's where all these deals come from. Just like how you were speaking about we not having the proper ones to teach us to grow up, you know, or the families that are broken up, the divided families. The ones that don't have the fathers in the home to put the structure down. Not saying that a mother can't do it, because ladies, y'all do a great job.
Absolutely.
But that's where the trauma starts at such a young age, and that's where the mental health issues come in at. You know, if you know, my mother and father they separated, and I moved here to Dayton when I was about 7. My mom left here, and we moved to Mississippi. I have 2 brothers, 2 sisters. I'm going to still count you, man. 2 brothers and 2 sisters. And so they left me at a young age, 18. So they went, and I'm a man, I'm okay. I'm 49 years old. And just a year ago, I realized that those things affected me. You know, my mom left for good reasons, to better her life. And I respect that, and I love her for that. But I didn't realize until a grown man how much it affected me. Not only affected me personally, it affected my relationships, the way I thought, the way I maneuvered. So, it starts very young. It starts very young, and it starts very young.
So, and then if I can add, I think one of the things, everything I heard, I agree with wholeheartedly. And one thing I keep hearing though is how generational this is, right? So like it's easy for us now because we have access to many resources. It's easy for us to be able to identify things that we struggle with. And we also have that same access to be able to overcome those things. But it's so easy to just say like forget it.
Right.
Like, it's easy to say, and it takes me back to the generational piece because like for those of us or some of us who maybe didn't have like that father or some strong figure in our lives, like if we didn't see that, we can see it on our phones today, but it didn't grow up in our homes with us.
Right.
So it was a lot easy for us to say, oh well, I ain't had that, or I don't. It's so much easier. So one thing I always try to tell and encourage people to do is that think about the fact that everything that you really want in life is right on the other side of what you're actually scared of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everything we really want in life is right on the other side of what you're scared of. And one thing I heard Tony say was, one of the things that a lot of us say to ourselves every morning when we get up, like, I gotta get up. I gotta get up. I gotta go to work. I gotta go to the grocery store. I gotta take daycare. I gotta do this. So one thing that I did that has worked for me is change one word, which is from I gotta do this to I get to do this. I get to get up and go to work every day. I get to be a man and be present in the lives of my nieces and nephews.
You have to flip it to some positive.
I get to go to the grocery store. I get to go to the gas station and cuss the whole time while I'm pumping my gas.
Right. I'm
into
paying
my
the right
car.
to do it.
So really just changing our mindset, changing our thought process, changing our perspectives, really goes a long way.
You talking about the power of negativity. It takes at least 10 positive thoughts or words to overturn one negative act.
I heard it was 16.
Yeah, 16. For example, if I say, brother, hey, man, I don't care for that hat, man. I think you should have wore an orange hat with that.
Yeah.
And it was somebody that you really love, somebody you really trusted. You'd be thinking like, oh man, brother Tony, hey man, I love your beard, man, but man, if you could have got it. And then Brother Tony may be, and he's a sharp guy. Yeah. Brother Tony may be looking in the mirror like, and then it'll take 10 to 16 people say, man, I like that, man. That's
Right.
And then about around 7 or 8 times somebody says something positive, he be like, oh man, ain't nothing wrong with this beard. He just didn't like it.
Right.
So that's true. The point you're saying, Randall, man, the power of negativity, man, is entrenched. And Tony, you talking about, man, we wake up in the morning, and that's the purpose of why we ought to jump right out into morning meditation. To some type of ritual that's positive. A lot of people, man, they
positive.
Yes, they put positive stuff in the mirror. Cause that negativity, man, it's all around us.
No doubt for sure.
So that's good. Excellent points.
So let's run our intro real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, you guys. Hold on. We're gonna be right back in one
Hey,
second.
y'all, seem like my chair.
Yeah. Y'all actually won an award, the Boss Mag 2009 Ohio Hip Hop Award. Y'all won for that media outlet thing.
Man, I don't even know.
Like y'all won. He didn't even know he won it.
What'd you say? Who was it?
You won the Boss Magazine 2009 Ohio Hip Hop Award. Congratulations.
That's legendary.
What's up? Every time I come in the press room, you're in the press room. Working on our Stars Hottronic heat press. Using all the vinyl. Making all the picture tees. I like vinyl.
I'm about to just load these boxes up. I'm not your way.
Man, you gotta be a crazy little brother to get fired on your day off. What you get caught stealing boxes for?
Man, I didn't get caught stealing no boxes. He said he caught me though.
You get our rent paid.
Why don't you go in there and ask the girls real fast to see if they help us pay our rent?
That don't sound like a bad plan at all.
What's up, Pops?
What's up, Smokey? I'm trying to set up a meeting with the girls, man.
Okay.
Y'all wanna help me and Craig pay our rent?
Craig still owe me money from the last time he got me. He gotta learn a lesson. He shouldn't be stealing. Go ask him to tell that girl from last night to give him some money.
What they say?
They said it's slow for real.
I'm about to just ask Boss when we get our job back.
Of course you can.
Yeah, it was good. It's your boy Peanut, the CEO of Dash Resource. I got my man Stack and SMED.
What's going on, everybody? Man, y'all, welcome to the Legendary People Podcast.
Yeah.
Man, we want everybody that's watching on our Facebook page, please go to our YouTube channel and watch this. Make sure that you comment all throughout this interview and this podcast, man, and we're going to read your comments. We're going to let you take part and interact in this podcast. We want to say what's up to all our sponsors, Sheiks. Go to Sheiks for breakfast. They have the best breakfast in the city. Agnes All Natural Grill for lunch. If you're ever injured, call attorney Michael Wright. TheShopArea.com. It's like the baby Amazon. Delivery is always free from the store to your door. From the store to your door in 4 business days. Peanut likes when I say that, you know.
I'm trying to take a point away, man. You feel me? I'm already down.
And when you want to get lit a little bit, get you some good old Kiara wine.
Yes.
Unwind with Kiara Wine. You can contact Antoine Cunningham on Facebook or swoop it up at More For Your Let or More For Let.
There you go.
I took a shoot. All right, y'all. We're at T-Shirt Kings, tshirtkings247.com. Gold for your mouth. Gold for your mouth in the metaverse. Make sure y'all come and check out our Gold for Your Mouth location inside of Horizon in the metaverse. Is really sweet. And we got another location they just opened in Altspace VR. So go get you an Oculus and come be a part of the metaverse because this building is looking real good. But come and see us here in the real life at 4301 North Main Street. T-Shirt Kings, Go For Your Mouth, and Camera King Studios. My brother Peanut Johnson teach you how to get a big old bag of money from selling stocks and investing your money the right way. So it's sell stocks, not dope. Every Sunday on the Dash Resource channel on YouTube. You guys like, subscribe, and comment, you guys. If you know anybody who has struggled with mental health, man, please comment below and let us know how you guys were able to get through that situation. And we will be reminding you all throughout the show to comment your mental health stories and mental health questions, and we'll do our best to try to answer them and give you solutions to the things that you may or may not be going through. All right, so without further ado, my brother Peanut Johnson, over to you.
Yeah, man. So I want to say congratulations up to myself. I finally cracked 1,000 subscribers on my YouTube page. So that shows that we are people and Dayton will support.
Oh yeah.
So I want to say salute to everybody that's on there. Last week I dropped a stock that is tied to the cure for rectal cancer, man. So with GSK. So it's an actual stock right now. Yes.
Cure.
They did a 11 people study. All 11 people, their cancer was in remission. Yeah, all 11 of them.
Okay.
So but you guys have some more content like that. Make sure you're my page. We ain't about to hear talk about me. Is all I'm saying. This is the Legendary People Podcast. We do legendary people, legendary stories, and today we have a legendary panel, which is a group which is Essential Love.
No doubt for sure.
Love and action. So I'm gonna let them introduce themselves and a little bit of their background. Start with Tony.
Hey, look, my name is Tony. #Essential Love.
Yes, sir.
I'm just here to represent my men in any way, fashion, my boys and my men, and in any way possible, from their health to their mental state to their spiritual state. So, hey, get at me.
I'm Randall Moore. Some people around the city also know me as Trey. I haven't gone by Trey in quite a while. But I'm Randall. So the agency I work for is called Equitas Health. So we focus on offering primary health care as well as HIV specialty care. What else? We have our own dental services, our own pharmacy, our own mental behavioral health and recovery services as well. We're just a regular doctor's office. The only difference is we are specific to making sure that our space is comfortable, welcoming, and inviting to Black and brown people. Any other medically underserved population, we want to make sure folks feel comfortable going to talk to a licensed provider about their health care.
Cool.
Well, I'm Terry Hill, and man, we've got about 30 years of mental health and substance abuse experience. We are the founder and owner of Recovery Street Central, which is a substance abuse and mental health agency located here in Montgomery County. Got about 23 sober living houses and an additional 100 clients between 3 different hotel locations. We start off with 1 client, just shy of 2 years ago. We practiced as licensed independent professional clinical counselor, licensed independent chemical dependency counselor, licensed social worker, licensed school counselor, licensed principal. Yeah, we're happy to be here, man, and doing whatever we can to assist the clients that we work for. And any way we can assist community members, man, that's what we do. We believe we work for our community and the clients that we've been blessed to serve.
So here on the Legendary Podcast, we normally do the origins of our guests, but today I want to do the origins of mental health, man. Like, are there mental health effects from slavery?
I would say so. I would say so. Just through the blood, through the way we were taught, the things that was taught to us, the way we were brought up. I believe in like my ancestors, you know, somehow. So I do believe somehow it's some type of connection. Whether if we live there mentally, that's another story. But I do believe there's a connection.
I would agree, wholeheartedly. I think especially for me specifically, you know, coming from obviously a black family who's rooted in history and ensuring that we were aware and knowledgeable of where we come from, largely to instill in us the strength that is genetically in us from slavery. So, but I do think that plays a huge part in our mental health even today.
Mental health, mental thought.
Yes.
That's probably where all this negativity come from. You know, like he was Terry speaking earlier about my beard, not this or etc. All our lives we was told that we wasn't anything. So what would you think that would do to us?
Right.
You know?
I think my bro, he touched on another podcast before when he looked up the definition of white and the definition of black. And when you heard the definition of black by itself, it was so much like disparaging remarks. Like if someone just did not call you black and called you the synonyms for black, you would want to fight them. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of that things are baked into our DNA. I mean, like you gotta look at, I mean, like we could say how our slaves were beat. So my mom whooped me when I'm acting out loud. And then you go to some other households where they talk to their children and you'll see them turn around a little different. A lot of things are hand and foot shackled to like slavery to me. I mean, especially when you start thinking of like the way we react to certain things. I mean, like a lot of us be pre-hypertension when we're born based off the foods that we ate that were slops passed down from slavery. So to me, I think it's more relevant today than it ever was.
And that's hitting the health side. Just like you said, we were handing down the slops. So to this day, and we made it a delicacy.
Yeah,
we made it taste good.
Yeah.
We made chitlins taste good. We're eating chitlins today.
Yeah.
You know, but here it is. That's where the sicknesses of our health come in at. Diabetes, etc. You know, and
Tom,
leads to the mental
What
health.
you think about it, bro?
Well, I think an excellent place to start is to define what mental health is.
Yeah,
Mental health is a person's condition with regard to their psychological and emotional well-being. So with that being said, we'll go back to the question, how is black people's mental health as a result of slavery? I think we have to take a look at how we're acculturated in our society. What I mean by acculturation is the process by which a citizen is introduced to society's way of saying, hey, you know how to behave. You know, we have middle class values. And a lot of those things we were never introduced to. Does the trauma from slavery, does that persist today? It does persist to this day. There was an article that had come out, and we've all read the Willie Lynch theory. Yes. And so we're still suffering from that. That's very real. That's the psychological effects of that. He said, you know, you turn old versus turn old against the young, the lighter skin versus the darker skin. And he's named a list of things that if you put these in place, you know, hey, it will basically run themselves. And so we always say, well, white folk and other people, they're doing this to us, when in fact, you know, the trauma that we've suffered from years of slavery, as you pointed out, you know, they're self perpetuating. They really don't have to do anything because the trauma is self-reflected. So we never really get an opportunity to fully acculturate into American society. You know, an example, something really simple is going to Panera Bread, going out on Brown Street. That's just regular, ordinary stuff that people just do. We assume, but everybody don't have the opportunity, you know. And so when people, I've said for years when I worked as a school counselor, that we suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. You know, that they were suspending our children at a very high alarming rate, and it wasn't disciplinary problems. It was our children are coming out, walking over dead bodies, seeing people, a lot of domestic violence in their homes, seeing people being robbed in broad daylight, seeing people, you know,
and listening to the worst music possible,
man.
and being programmed by nonstop evil rotation of
get ready to
evil
restart.
programming,
It's a cycle.
evil programming. Some of this stuff
Boy,
is
Ptsd,
so
good
so
stuff.
so like one thing that I don't want to do is like, man, I'm tired of giving credit to the oppressors for our situation, bro.
Yes.
Like, if we gonna go and think positive, man, I want us to do that in any situation, no matter the circumstance. And slavery happened, indeed, and these negative things become socialized from generation on to generation. All right, we got that. But for real, right now, man, we do have a lot of control
Absolutely.
over what we are doing.
Yes.
But we don't feel we have control.
Like, man, like, if you blame somebody for your failure, you have to credit them with your success. So now, like, bro, we can do it regardless, man. And that's just my main point. Like, man, like, because, bro, we are made to overcome. I damn near want to sit here and figure out what were, as crazy as it might sound, what were the benefits for slavery? How strong did it make us? How now don't we have to, like, we don't even, like what bro said earlier, like, we ain't had so much to lose in order to be ready to kill ourselves when we don't got nothing. Because the fall wasn't that far to the ground. And we really didn't have that much. I mean, if I'm a millionaire, my parents been a millionaire, and now I don't got nothing, yeah, I can't deal with this life anymore. But for whatever reason, man, we are able to survive through the most difficult, which you would consider trying situation.
True.
And it ain't really no sweat off our back. The man who is content with little could be happiest. And so, like, if talking about mental health, let's talk about what mental health is and how we can fix ourselves rather than explore, like giving white men too much credit for where we at. Like, bro, they don't got nothing to do with us.
You know, when you look at
Like,
our history, historically speaking, man, you look at Timbuktu.
yeah,
Still the world's greatest educational institution ever.
man,
You look at Imhotep, the father of medicine.
man.
You look at Ghana, Mali, Songhai.
The Moors in Spain.
Exactly, empires. You know, man, they sell Amerigo Vespucci, you know, which discovered America, but they had killed him and thrown him overboard to get the credit. You know, but over in Africa, they had sailed over here to America. Long
Been
before
here.
they cut down trees, found the current, jumped in the boat, sailed over here, didn't like it, and sailed back
Man.
to Africa. So these are the points, man, that we've got to get to. Mental health wise, garbage in, garbage out. It's a computer term. Garbage giggle, garbage in, garbage out. The mind works the same way.
Yeah.
And so, man, we've gotten so much clutter in our minds that, man, envision this, a mind being a dirty coffee pot. We've all seen a dirty coffee pot, what it looks like. And so the only way, man, to clean that coffee pot out, man, is to wash it out. Okay, and the way you do that, man, you have to do it simultaneously. Get the dirty coffee out while putting fresh coffee in. For example, you're gonna have to quit listening to all that music, as you're pointing out. Negative people. Quit hanging out with negative people. And it's gonna be tough. You know, cause some people, man, gossips, man, I mean, they can will you in, man.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
good
interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Good gossip man can will you in.
Yeah.
But we have to be strong, man, and hold on, because we have to clean our minds out if we want to really get some true mental health. And also another thing, I hope I don't offend anybody when I say this.
Speak.
But we've got to quit. We've all been traumatized. We get that. This goes sort of what you were saying. But we've got to learn how to allow trauma to propel us into doing the right thing.
Right.
We always, man, we take that learned helplessness road. Oh, man, you know, I was raped. I was abused. They emotionally did this to me. And so this is why I'm on drugs. This is why I'm on alcohol. This is the woe is me. But we have got to learn how to let trauma propel us into making the right decision.
Turn a stumbling block into a stepping stone.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Yes. Yes.
But like that third that you were saying about the coffee pot, we have to empty the dirty
That's
and
right.
get the clean.
That's right.
And you mentioned something about music. It's not only music, but all the negative things. It was like about 20 years ago, it's more than that, 25 years ago. I used to ride to work with the music, boom, 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 6 in the morning, boom, 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 boom. And some one day just said, hey, you can't, because that first song will be in your mind all day. So at that point in time, God had spoke to me and was like, hey, I need your first time in the morning. So we keep on saying what's going to get us to it. God is the beginning. God spoke to me and told me to stop listening to that music. You can listen to it, but not the first thing in the morning. Give me your first time. So here it is. We do have to stop doing the negative things or the things that are negative to us spiritually and mentally in order for us to become that positive person.
So one thing I did when I was doing my research was that, like, you come up with a thing called a vanishing board, right?
Vantage board,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
Can you tell the viewers what a vanishing board is and how it works? I think that'll tie in perfect to what we're talking about.
Man, nice one there, Peanut. Yes, me and my loved one, Miss Atkinson, Miss Shondell Atkinson.
We love you too. We love you.
Hey, but you know what? When we first got together, and it all ties into like bringing in past traumas and habits and whatnot into your new relationship. So one day we looked up something and we just came up with something. Let's do a vanish board because everybody talk about the vision board. But how can you have a vision without vanishing all that is negative and old? So what we did, we both had our own individual board and we put them together after the fact. But insecurities, fears, whatever it was that we felt was holding us back as an individual as well as us coming together as a couple, we felt that we had to get rid of that. So we put a board together, we took it out to the grill, put a little lighter fluid on it, and we burnt it up. Seriously.
That's nice.
Yeah. So that goes on with the same theory of changing the old to begin something new. No doubt for sure.
Yeah, that's sweet.
So
Yes.
to me, that was so powerful because, like, a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, like, people are just thinking of the wants. You're not thinking of things holding you back. My bro said before, sometimes you gotta let go of two things in your hands so you can receive something. You know what I mean? If you sit there holding on to this raggedy car that ain't gonna make it, you ain't gonna see the car for sale right across the street.
That's good.
You know what I mean?
You gotta put something down to pick something up.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and then for that to be like relationship wise, that's super dope. Like I said before, like they are the couple in Dayton.
Respect. Appreciate you, brother.
But, so like mental health, right? We got a chance to like speak about how, you know what I'm saying, it holds people back, but we found ways to find out. But how do you meet people where they're at? Because a lot of times people get these blinders on. I'm guilty myself sometimes. I'll be like, I ain't dealing with nothing until I fix my stuff. You know what I mean? I'm not about to go kick it with man. Man, all you gotta do is turn the light switch on. but I'm not reaching out because I got my blinders on. How do you meet people where they at? When men, man, we so close off, we don't just post on Facebook. Listen, you with a girl, you gonna know she feel like go to her status is like, okay, she get mad at me today. How do we meet men where they at?
Man,
I think for me, one of the things that I try to do is really just be as open and honest and as transparent as possible. And specifically speaking about mental health or mental health maintenance, or I think mostly females refer to it as like self-care. And we paint this picture that it looks good, it looks easy. You know, we're gonna go get a manicure or pedicure or something like that. And we call that I'm gonna take a mental health day. But it's so much deeper than that. You know, even using the same analogy as the coffee pot. You know, you got to do more than just rinse it out. You know, you got to get some soap, some water, put it in the sink, put some
elbow in,
some
work.
And when that happens, then that's when you are addressing a lot of the PTSD or you know the traumatic situations that for many of us prior to our generation had normalized a lot of things that we we had to become you know a little bit older to realize that like those things were traumatic, but our parents and grandparents you know normalized a lot of the dysfunction that was in our household, right? Like uncle and none of these things I don't think anyway are groundbreaking. Like I didn't just come up with this stuff, you know these, but you know like our parents and grandparents or even beyond that would say like, oh, you know, Uncle Bo coming over, put your stuff up, you know, or that's just Auntie Shelly. She just fall out drunk at the picnic, like that's just what she do, and it's okay. But like now we have an opportunity within this generation to say like, no, like that's actually not okay.
It's not healthy.
Like she's got something deeper going on, and if we truly love Auntie whomever or Uncle whomever, like somebody has to pull her to the side and ask some questions, and then let them know, let those individuals know. Back to the point, meeting people where they are, being open, honest, transparent. I feel like sharing our own lived experiences does a whole lot more than any college degree could prepare a person to do work that they do. Being open, honest, being willing to be uncomfortable, and meeting people where they are, sharing where we've been, because I think a lot of us have some baggage and some stuff that we've been able to, you know, dig through, unclutter. We may be ashamed about it, but sharing those personal lived experiences and sharing how we got through it and how much better quality of life we have today as a result of doing the hard work.
The way I do that is I understand relationships. You know, I profess Christianity. My faith allows me to look at relationships on a horizontal plane as opposed to vertical. Vertical being up and down. You know, I understand the grace of God, what the Lord does for me, what Jesus has done on the cross. And who am I? I don't allow any of our clients we work for to be discharged. I don't believe in that. They're there, we work for them. Someone's homeless, someone don't have a lot. You know, I make an effort to love them unconditionally. Same way the Lord loves me, I show that other person that same love that Christ shows me. And that grace, His grace is greater than our failure. You know, where they say sin abounds, grace superabounds. And so I carry the same model with the clients that I work for, with the people that I engage in. You know, there's no big I's, there's no little U's. We just have different responsibilities. I don't believe that a pastor is greater than an usher. We just have different responsibilities. How would you feel if you wore a new suit to church and you sat and wide a gun? Well, you're not going to pay that sermon any attention. You're going to be probably curse the usher out for not getting wide a gun. So it's just different responsibilities, and in the way that I kind of look at things, you know, through the lens of my faith allows me to meet people where they are. And and just treat them the same way that I want to be treated. You know, that's what I think.
So, like, what are some like positive coping mechanisms that people could institute on, you know, like it's on a micro level, such as you just having a bad day? What are some of your positive coping mechanisms for somebody just having a bad day?
Yeah, that's good.
What I do, I meditate. Meditating is very good for me. It keeps me very balanced. Like I was sharing with Randall, you know, I'm not used to the cameras and all that type of deal, so I was kind of nervous of getting here. So I meditated for like 2 hours, like an hour and a half. Even though I was transporting, making moves, I still had my music playing, and I was just meditating. So that there is one thing that I can do. And before that, prayer. Prayer number one. Yes, sir.
You know, we hear this, but I think we discount it because we hear it so much. Count your blessings. The poor man's way of coming out of depression is counting your blessings. You know, we were talking about this before we had gone live, and we had stated the man with no shoes. Man, was he depressed until he met the man with no feet. The man with no feet, he was depressed until he met the man with no legs. The moral of the story is things can always appear to be worse. And then our perception, we've got to quit looking at the problem and look at the solution. Before a problem ever existed, the answer was already there. And so we have to get out of thinking negatively. Goes back to changing our thought life. And as Tony has stated, you know, getting that morning meditation initially setting that foundation, staying focused, and staying poised. And that'll get you through. And doing the thought stopping technique. And that's literally taking that thought, if it's a negative thought, once it comes across that threshold, you stop it. No, we're not doing this today. We will think positive. Think on these things which are good, which are just, to be any virtue in these things, think on these things. Yes.
I call it out, you know. Like you said, when the negative thought go through my mind, I have 5 seconds to clear that thought. If I let it go any past 5 seconds, it's going to be there for a little while. So when that negative thought comes, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to be like, to deny it. And sometimes you have to call it out. You can be in the car by yourself. I'm not having that today. For real. You know what I mean? You got to sometimes speak encouragement into yourself, positivity in yourself. And that goes a long ways, man.
So we had the esteem on the soccer floor in the building, you know what I mean? The question I posed to the panel was, how do you deal with somebody that's having a bad day when it comes to mental health? What is something like you could use as a positive coping mechanism to get you out of just a bad day?
I'm sure that they answered it so eloquently.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm sorry, I'm late. Woo. I won't even imagine to tell you what my day.
Time out. We all know we can take a point away from him for being late, right?
Okay, you got it.
I'm late because I was doing this.
Nasha.
Okay.
Shaq gets no points. Never take a
Ever
point.
does it.
This is our
Honorary.
OG honorary.
There it is, then.
Man, big bro, man.
Diamond Club member.
T-Ty has spoken.
Shaq never gets a point.
Hey, my mother used to tell me that the busy bodies get the busy work done.
Yeah.
For a while, I was like, oh, she Cocoa for Cocoa Puff. What she talking about? But she's right. When you're busy, you get stuff done. And so I'm late in the sense of being here, but I'm not late in the sense that the work that I've been doing. Because I really believe in operational unity. That means unifying uplift at all costs. And sometimes it just takes longer. So I've been ministering today as well as we had the Dayton African American Culture Festival meeting, which was awesome. But to answer the question, I had a friend was telling me, you know, he was going through some stuff and, you know, and it was a lot of problems on the table. One of the things I told him that I do, man, is I pray. And it's okay that when you pray about these issues, you also get help or therapy. You know, we think you just pray and everything just happens. No, I say prayer without faith, without works is dead. without faith, without works is dead. So one of the things that I do when I address people, I'm not fear thinking, I'm faith thinking. The fear is the false evidence of superior will. The faith is feel as if the thing has happened. So when I approach people, it's always faith thinking. I'm saying there's a better way. I'm saying sometimes you pray, but I'm also saying sometimes you have therapy. And I'm also saying I will go out of my way and take time with you. I literally sat and let a man vent for 30 minutes because he wanted to kill himself in the beginning. At the end, he was talking about how that's crazy to kill himself. And then my solution was, now let's get help. So I like to say, don't quit, get help. Don't jump, think. And so with that process, that I have to be that person that whatever it takes for that moment to hear you out, I have to hear you out. You know, our little brother Darren Bird, one of y'all favorites on the show. I watched Darren Bird when we were doing Rites of Passage, and wow, our stories with me and you, so amazing. But we were doing Rites of Passage. I watched Darren Bird stay with a young man for 3 days who was suicidal. And my boss like, we can't pay him. I said, we don't do this for that. You know, so when we say health is wealth, I'm sure they've already talked about that. I like to say life equals health and wealth. So it's a person's life that they're living, and being that you don't know, you've got to be willing to listen to that person. You've got to be willing to be the positive one, because there might be the day that you're the negative one and you need somebody to listen to you. So I really believe that you reap what you sow, the law of the circle. What goes around comes around. There's been some days I had to reach out to these brothers. You know what I mean? And there's going to be some days, what am I saying? Ubuntu says, I am because we are. Also, I am because you are. So as brothers, right, we have a responsibility not to just be our brother's keeper, can't kill Abel, but our brother's brother. And as our brother's brothers, we got to just be there for it. So I think for me, the answer, I know I said a lot to say that, but the answer is I got to stay in that space. I got to be in that space that you need me to be at that moment. But they the expert. I'm following they
So, I mean, having such a calling to put together such a panel, it has to come from personal experience. Can we go from side to side on personal experience of you hitting that part where you feel it was the odds were against you and you made it through?
And absolutely, man. I started my first business, New Horizons Therapeutic Services, in Alabama home, and we had grown again. Lord bless us, grow from 3 clients in our home to over 1,700 active in less than 18 months. Multi-million, multi-million dollar business. And we lost that business. And because we stand on the same principles that we're talking about today, God doesn't give us a spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. We're foolish enough to believe that. And so we stood on that. And so we didn't go anywhere. We weren't depressed. We didn't have time for that. We know that the latter rain is greater than the former. I've never seen the righteous forsaken nor seed begging bread. So we begin to quote these things that we're actually talking about. I began to put them in action. And I know that it's God who takes up and it's God who sits down. And so we just apply faith. Marlon was talking about faith. And this brother over here, faith is substance things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And so we continue to stand on God's word and, do what the word of God says through his promises by faith. And lo and behold, we've got another business that's doubled. In business, our clientele is doubled. And so we're moving forward based on the fact that we didn't have time to get depressed. Again, we didn't have time to be fearful. And it's all about the fear. And fear manifests itself in anxiety, depression, all those other things. And so the opposite of fear is faith. You focus on fear, faith is not there. And so we focus on faith. And so we're trying to hold that. But I'm human. The Bible says Jesus wept. And so there was times where we were a little down. But, as Tony stated, we applied the morning meditation. And, started off grounded and rooted. We weren't playing a lot of rap music with,
They're going to keep you in that mind state,
that lower vibration. Exactly. So we shifted into high alert, and we were able to pull through that thing, and we continue to be on high alert because this depression and anxiety, this stuff is real.
It's real.
This is real. This is an awesome podcast that you guys are doing. This is awesome and badly needed, man.
I guess I'd say for me, what my personal experience was really just coming from a middle class, average black family here in Dayton, church going folks, and as I was coming out of high school, it was like 17, 18, my sexuality played a huge part in my fears, anxiety, and all sorts of things. The same people, and somewhere it was mentioned by somebody earlier, we also receive a lot of trauma internally, from within our own communities, especially the black church.
Yes.
I'm going to just say that because it's the truth.
Yes.
And as a result of things that I heard from people who I had looked up to and respected and admired, things that I heard from those individuals, really kind of helped me go down a downward spiral. So I ended up making a lot of decisions that led me in and out of county jail, in and out of different rehab facilities, until they finally sent me to prison. I did 6 months on my first number. They stayed at CRC, 13 months on my second number, where they sent me to a parent institution. And when I came home, I just knew, I had come home with very, very little to almost no support from family and close friends. So, I really just made up in my mind again, right? So back to the whole thinking piece, our thought processes. And I just made up in my mind that, whatever I had to do to not go back to jail, and keep myself out of the system, whatever I had to do those things, that's what I was going to do. I went through almost a decade of working multiple jobs at the same time, catching the bus, doing whatever I needed to do, again, to not have to go back in front of Judge Huffman or Wiseman in Miami County, or I got them mixed up. But anyway,
Right.
I had made up in my mind.
Good, you got them mixed up.
Yeah. I just made up in my mind to lead a different life. And at that time, I had no thoughts of wanting to give back, reach out, talk to other people who may have been through similar situations. That wasn't the plan. I just wasn't trying to go back to jail. And that was it. But one thing I realized, though, in just living life, and I'm only 34, so, I ain't lived a whole lot, but, long enough to know that most of the experiences and things that I went through really wasn't about me. It was for me to be able to, share in a space like this right now.
Right.
To be able to reach people that I will probably never meet in person. Because, we don't know who we're going to come across. So when I did finally realize everything I went through really wasn't for me. It was for me, but it was more so for other folks who look like me, who come from similar backgrounds, so that I can say, hey, instead of you giving up, this you can actually make it.
Yeah.
You won't be on the bus forever. You won't have to work at Casanos on Main Street and Raleig's at the same time forever. You won't have to do these things forever, but you got to put in some work. And on those days that you feel like giving up, I've had people these folks in my life for a very long time, and have called some on many occasions, and they've allowed me to be right where I was, and I use those things today to share with other folks.
And thank you for sharing, bro. So I posed the same question to you. So what part of your life where you was on a down and out, and it was something that sparked in you to get you turned back right?
Okay. Well, having kids at a young age. Well, I was 18. But being a father of two, just the pressures of life. My story, I found myself just keeping a lot in. I found myself in depression. I was in depression for over a year and didn't even realize it. I found myself just going to work, coming home, just taking care of my responsibilities to the fullest that I could at the present time. But I found that I had myself shut off to the world. I had thoughts of hurting myself. They were thoughts. And I'm speaking this to let everybody know it's okay. I had thoughts. Was I for real about it? I don't know, but I spoke them. And just speaking them is enough. I went to go seek help. I went to a counselor. Before that, I had people trying to get me to go, but as the strong black man, no, we don't do counseling. I can take care of this. But it almost broke me. It got so deep. I was having indigestion problems. I mean, stress can get to you. It'll just take you and just choke you out. And I went to go get help. I spoke with someone. And if I can be honest, going to counseling, I was upset when the session was over. It felt good to go and speak to someone. And that's why I want everyone to know that is listening to today, that it's okay to seek help. You know, like my brother was saying, my brother Shaq, yeah, we can pray all we want. We can be together and we can pray, but what we gonna do after that? So to put together how I overcame, I reached out to a person that ran the shop down at Serendipity. Okay, Serendipity. That's how Serendipity came into play. And if I can be honest, when I was up in my bedroom, I found myself drinking and medicating on marijuana. And I was smoking and drinking to get drunk, and I was smoking to get high. And after doing that for so long and it wasn't getting me anywhere, it was just sinking me deeper, I had ran into a person that introduced me to Serendipity, and we got together and she put me on a regimen. And it was a regimen that allowed, well actually before the regimen we had a conversation and we talked about using the things properly, you know what I mean? Because I was abusing them instead of using them properly. I was over-medicating myself to a point where I didn't want to get out to bed. So we got a regimen together, and I found myself finding myself wanting to get out to bed. And not only that, it allowed me to go within inside myself to create this new person that was deep down inside of me, because childhood traumas and everything that we go through living in the regular world, it does put a pressure on us. I can remember a time when I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror. I was afraid to look. It wasn't the fact that I was afraid. I knew what was there. You know, I used to be that guy that was closed off, evil looking, frowned up all the time because I was unhappy. You know, I tried to find my own happiness, but like I say, getting on my regimen, getting my mind right, and getting it clear. First, we gotta want help. First of all, you know what I mean? Because if we're not going to accept it, you know, there's no growth in it. So I accepted my growth, and or accepted my responsibility of what I needed to be doing. So that's where I'm at today, my brother.
That's hard, man. And, you know, and I think a lot of people are going to connect with that, because a lot of people go to that point where it's like, you strong because you gotta think you gotta be strong, or put this mask on for everybody else, especially with the parental anxiety that we gotta have while like lightning going out like yesterday, y'all. We called it off because we want to go home and be strong faced, you know what I'm saying, the prayer, right? So, but it's like that thing that we gotta wear can also be so heavy. And to go talk to somebody, it's like I get to take it off and you get to help me balance it for a second.
Right. That's why we need brothers like this, because we act so hard and we don't feel that we can come to my brother and lean on him. You know what I mean? So that's what we need to create. We need to create that brotherhood of trust and love. You know, we was talking earlier. Where do we meet people at? We meet them with love. You know what I mean? Because love conquers all, my friend. You feel what I'm saying? So regardless of where the person is, as long as we feed them that love, it's okay. You know, that's the start.
And I think, just to add to that, You know, I love young people. I don't really mess with y'all adults no more. Because young people, I'm an elder now. I choose to mess with elementary. You know, I've worked with all of them. Y'all can. I don't want to lecture. I don't want to talk to them. I talk to young people. Let me no drama, no trauma. That's my thing. No drama, no trauma. That's a shirt. That's a shirt. We need to get that out there. No drama, no drama. But let me say this. I wrote this down. Robert Bannister said, "The man that can drive himself further when the effort is painful will win." That's the win-win. For me, I can't go into detail because of litigation, but for me, a very stressful point was about a year ago. About a year ago, I had a young lady lied on me.
Wow.
And lied on me. And the people that I thought had my back did not have my back. I mean, they did. The people that knew me, they knew my work. They know I got 50-something nieces, 20-something else. They know what I do. You know, at one point when I had it documented, it did not happen. Thank God I saved it on my phone. What really happened? Lied on me. And people, some in the administration, some people knew that. But what helped me was I got a real ring of brothers. I got little nephews like y'all. And they came to my house one night. You talking about how I got over? About 29, 30 strong. You know, I'm not even gonna put no names out there. My little brothers that I raised in the church, you know, I can give you, you know, all of them, that ain't you, came with tears in their eyes, right? Because I was at that point, I almost turned into the old Shaq Lambert. The one who motto when I played football was kill, kill, seek out and destroy, because I was an angry man. And I was literally unblockable and unstoppable, because you knocked me down, I jumped back up like, what is he on? Never, you know, I never smoked, never took drugs. But I was so hurt about a year ago because the city didn't get behind me like they should. But it was still at 30, the support group. My passion, I got to put them out there. I got you, right? New, right? And then they blocked the first part of this. I can't go into it. What they said I did. They stopped after 3 days when I showed them what I had. Well, you know what I learned about the support group? The brothers that just believed in me before I even showed them the support.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They said, if you say you didn't do it,
Your work.
that was enough. Others hid in the school system, hid behind doors, people I've had relationships with. You didn't speak up for more than two. Okay. But my point behind that, though, but I had the hood. So that's why I'm a ghetto Christian. Because ghetto Christian mean I'm 50% holy, 50% hood. Yeah, I'm ghetto. When Tupac was sober, he said ghetto meant getting higher education to teach others. And I will say it was brothers like Kerry, but Darren, you know, the normal suspects, Sean, Joshua, you know, that came to me and said, and the sisters supported me. And that helped me. So one of the things that I like talking about is that we need that type of support system. Now, my mentor, and I'm going to share this tomorrow, said something to me, Alvin Freeman, who bragged about to me all the time. I raised 10,000. I laughed and had to look him and say, he hit 35,000, Alvin Freeman. You told me to be better than you, and I'm still doing it. He taught me something. He said, Shaq, I always love you, but I only support you if you're right. He said, I always love you. You got my heart, even more than my son's. But I'm only going to support you if you're right. You know what I learned from that? You can't do the right thing in the wrong way, and you can't do a godly thing in an ungodly way. I hear my grandma saying, Mom, just live right. And I say that to tie into what you said, is that having that support system or that band of brothers is nothing like it. When you were going through, I was one of the biggest supporters because I knew your gift and your talent would surpass mine whenever you're ready to focus. That's why I love millennials. I see these millennials, the Days and stuff, and I work with, and I see them doing great work, right? You know why they're able to do that great work? Because they had the support system. So a big part of the therapy, a big part of the prayer, regardless of what your religion is. Sometimes I think I rock all the guys. Right, but I'm grounded in JC though. But I'm serious. A big part of that is having somebody that you can go to and you can give them your heart and they love you and they don't take your shit out there and go tell somebody else. Because my friend might not be your friend. And I got a band of brothers of my high time. Y'all know them.
Yeah, for sure.
My brother Sean, right? You know, I got a band of brothers that I can call and say, look, man, this is where I'm at, man. I'm feeling vulnerable today.
Right.
What good news you got for me? You have to have that. That is so important to have that.
That's why I say the last place on earth that existed that place it's called the barbershop, man. That's the only place where free speech still happens. You can say whatever you want to in there.
That's that garbage talk.
Yeah, it's not that garbage talk. We gonna be real. Listen, and we want to create that same type of feeling on this platform as well. So, like you guys have a night tomorrow, right? You guys want to tell us a little bit about that?
No doubt. Tomorrow on June the 15th from 6 to 8 o'clock, Serendipity is partnering up with Essential Love. That's myself. We are having it's called the Wellness Wednesday workshop. It's the Men's Health. It's Men's Health Month in June.
Yes.
So we'll be just fellowshipping. I have my brother Shaq, I have my brother Terry, and I have my brother Randall. Yeah, that's going to be helping us out. Randall, you go ahead and tell them what's going to be going down tomorrow, my friend.
So we'll be offering free blood glucose screenings and some basic biometric health screenings for free for individuals. We'll also have one of our financial counselors will be there at the event tomorrow, and what our financial counselors do is help people navigate the whole insurance system. So a lot of times folks don't know whether they have insurance or whether they don't, or what their status is. And then for individuals whose biometric numbers may be a little bit out of whack, if their blood pressure is a little bit high or their sugar's a little off, we'll have the capacity tomorrow to be able to schedule them for an appointment to come in and see one of our primary care health providers.
So like your background also was where you worked for the VA where you helped was it homeless people? What was that exactly?
So I worked in transitional housing for homeless vets. Prior to the agency I work at now, which I've been at a little over 7 years. Prior to that, I spent 4 years at the Dayton VA, working as a linkage to care specialist, just making sure that homeless vets had access to equitable health care, quality health care, housing, food, any other disparities that they faced. My job was to help them overcome those.
Right. So like, how rewarding was that to see people for instance? I mean, I feel like Muhammad Ali felt to certain issues, right? But the fact that when they go over there and they go fight for our freedoms, to capitalism, I feel like they still should be people that are taken care of first. To see people that been through those type of experiences, I mean, can you give us one of those stories of their mental state coming from that situation? I mean, we're not talking about I'm having a bad day. You heard them people are in crisis.
I mean, absolute crisis. And when we talk about PTSD, we talk about, I was able to be in a space to offer support to people who literally would get up in the middle of the night screaming, the things that we see on movies.
Right.
Folks waking up from traumatic nightmares, and to be able to be in a space and serve in a capacity, and I had a platform with the VA for folks to be able to come down to my little working space, my little office, and feel safe, and it was real awkward in the beginning, being a smaller guy who identifies as a member of the LGBTQ community, and then have a person 30, 40, sometimes 50 years older than me, with mass war stories, but feel safe with me,
right?
And feel comfortable and open talking about how horrible they felt for killing women and babies and all of those things, and again, and I think Shaq hit the nail on the head a little while ago. Sometimes literally just being in that space, because I didn't have my personal experience to draw on to give them any support in that.
Wow.
But just sitting and being and listening and being attentive looking them in their eye, letting them know that, hey, like I actually don't have anything to give you, but make sure you take your meds. You go talk to your counselor in the morning. You know, I can sit here and pray with you. You know, I can do what I can do, but I can also, you know, advocate and encourage for you to take some of those other steps to because a lot of it can be clinical sometimes, which requires medication. And I'm no, provider or person to be able to write a script, but I can be in this space with you. I can share with you. I can just let you know that I'm here and I'm listening to you, and I genuinely care about you. I think one of the common things that's been shared on among us today is treating people how you want to be treated. And sometimes that doesn't even require like opening our mouths. Like people can feel the energy you give it off.
And I just want to highlight that because like that's where I kept asking like how do you meet people where they at, because a lot of times us having this front up is gonna keep somebody from even knowing something's wrong with you, know what I mean? But for you not to even have anything in connection with his story to actually be there to help him is exactly what we mean by meeting people where they at. Because I am like, like everybody else here. I mean, I got parental anxiety. Some of you got grandparents, granddad anxiety, especially with the war and stuff like that pending. You thinking of how things are going to be later. Like I don't even want to procreate because I'm just so scared of life after this point. But like I said before, it's all about faith that everything's gonna be right.
In relationships, see, you got relationships and fearships.
Say that.
Two different things. Because we talking about violence, we talking about a public health issue, right? So it's relationship and fearship. When you have relationships, for instance, I know the circles I can't go in. If there's a circle LGBT, QT, I'm coming to him. If it's in the streets, y'all, we know the streets. Sure. Y'all know it more now because I'm a little older now. Y'all there. I couldn't
go to if it's in the streets, go to Peanut.
Go to Peanut.
Respectfully.
Respectfully, you can see me. Oh, damn. But no, on the serious, Peanut. But we can go lower than Peanut.
Right, yeah.
It's funny they was having a problem with the Latino gangs on the East End about 2 or 3 years ago, and I had just met the guy that was over one of the gangs, right? Yeah. So the city said, we have problems. I said, I know the right-hand person. No, you don't know him. I said, yes, I do. Went to talk to him. He shut it down. He shut the violence down on all 3 of them streets. Those are relationships, but you can't have fear shits, because when you have fear, it's got to be faith over fear, not fear over faith. Yeah. So having those relationships and knowing the bounty, now I can't go like I used to talk to them 20, 30 years old, so I got to maybe get somebody 30 to talk to the 20. See, a problem is when we think that we're the panacea, when we think that we're the cure-all. No, we need each other. Yeah. That's why having that support system, everybody needs to be in that support system. Anybody that cares about what's going on in your life at that time need to be in your support system. Okay, if it's financial, I ain't the financial wizard, I might call you. But maybe if it's social, political, social, economical rally, mentality, I might call him. Are you with me? If that makes sense.
Still takes a village.
Yeah, it takes a village. And when I say we are the village, the village starts with us. And that's what's happening in these schools. They got these teachers working in these schools. About 90% is white females. And some of y'all white females, I love y'all. Because y'all let me do my thing. Y'all shut the door and say, Shaq gonna say whatever. And that's how it works. Yeah. Oh, but I'm saying there's no black males in these buildings, like 1 or 2%. Hell, we see what's going on. Why people like us need to be in the building, but if we didn't go get your certificate or your receipt, meaning your PhD, you don't put us in the building. But yet I'm more effective than every male teacher that I know.
That's always been my gripe when it comes to, like, for instance, like the criminal justice type of situation, right? I cannot sit there that someone cannot get through their brain, that somebody can make a mistake at 18 years old, and by the time they are 60 years old, they can't have the same statehood they did at like that point in their life. Like, imagine you talking to a judge and you get in trouble because back at 18 or whatever, you lost your right to have a gun. Somebody breaks out your house and somehow you magically throw a gun out of nowhere. Now you going to jail for protecting your house when the judge does it for his family. I think we need representation everywhere. That's why I was a big advocate for Angelina Jackson, because I got a chance to talk to her right where you sitting at and explain to her that same type of situation. She said, I never thought of that. Because when you think about our neighborhoods, it should be policed by people in our neighborhood. The problem is we won't be qualified just based off you catching a charge at 18. So you will be a great teacher. I would be a great teacher. I love working with kids, but certain things on my record will prevent me from even having
Let me say
entry level position.
I gotta say this. I just got my record. Now I'm a felon.
Okay.
Right now, I was a holy terror as a young person, but I still caught a felon with writing bad checks. I just got that expunged about a month ago. Thank you, Bishop McGuire. I just got it expunged. I'm like,
I need that
I've
phone
been doing
number
this
too,
work. Now let me tell you the problem though.
Yeah.
A lot of contracts I could have got.
Yeah.
A lady came out and told me in the federal I didn't get because of that felony.
Yep.
Almost 40 years ago. I had, wait. And I just got it expunged. And I'm thinking of the opportunities. And we even had somebody that, and I won't throw her out there, but I know she needs to know that I know it was you. Used to block me because I had a felony. So when there was opportunities for me, this person would block me and say I'm not supporting them.
Wow.
Even though people see the work that I've done. How consistent. It's nobody even really not bragging on me, but it's nobody even on the same level.
Right.
Where they're talking about working with 1,000 kids, I'm talking about 35,000 kids. Yes. I'm talking about 29 graduated from college this year. I went to 22 graduations. Yeah. Guys, I've had a rites of passage. So for you to sit at the table, that's why we got to sit at those tables. And then once we sit at those tables, here's the next level. Here's revolution. We got to break the table down and build our own table. So first we got to get to the table and be smart enough to get there. Learn what they're doing at the table and then break that table down. Or if we can't break it down, get our own table. We got to change the way we do. The baddest people, now, educators are going to hate this. I work in these schools. The baddest people that go in school, and I'm saying baddest meaning good, the baddest people are the ex-felons, because the ex-felons that I work with, they become ex-men and ex-women. That's what I like to call them. They go into the schools, and you know this, change is like 360 degrees. Yep. They listen to us. They don't listen to y'all. But watch this. They need y'all, because I can't teach them math, science, but I can get their attention by my story. Yep. What I love about these brothers, check us out. We all got stories. Yep. Y'all missed it. We all have been through some stuff. I don't know if you shared some of your stuff too. We all been through some stuff. Right. Y'all think, Shaq is this nice guy.
That's where the growth come in at.
Woo, because we have to grow to our crown. We have to grow to our crown. And the key, that's right. And the key is when you grow to your crown, I learned something, and I even expanded what they learned in Morehouse in 27 years. You grow to the crown. The goal of growing to your crown is you grow others. We have a responsibility to grow others. Why am I still doing this work on this level, still outworking the counterpart? Because I'm outworking, because I'm out here fighting to save lives. I'm out here fighting to keep them alive and free. I'm a different breed, right? But we have to grow to our crown, get our crown, and then we grow others. And that's when the blessings start.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, I'm growing into my crown then, brother. You know what I'm saying? And then like that song, you have to make sure we fix ourselves. Not saying we need to be 100% fixed before we can help somebody else. It's like church. I ain't gonna go to church until I'm fully together. You'll never be together. So you just gotta jump in there. Jump in there.
More issues.
We won't go there. But yeah.
You gotta take care of the house when you go clean somebody else.
No doubt, for sure. So that's my plan. You know what I mean? I want young men alike to think differently. You know what I mean? We've been talking about positive thinking. We're talking about health. But I feel like before we can even think about being healthy, we got to change the mindset. We talked about the food that we put into our bodies. So it all plays a role. So if we all teach one, reach one, teach one, then, that's the goal,
Yeah. So I love the venue y'all chose, which was the Gym City Market. And we had Amaha Selassie on this podcast before, and he said this thing about the shared future, man. And I love that y'all are bringing that same type of concept, because I mean, if we all visualize this shared future, then we understand that your differences don't matter. Like, just because you do it your way, it don't matter. Because our shared future is we need to be progressing along, and it seems like you guys have a very great thing going on tomorrow. What is from 6 to 8 p.m. at the community room at the Gym City Market. They're taking donations. You call 589-2222, and they'll win what?
You know what? That's just a $5 donation.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Don't allow that to not stop you from coming. You know what I mean? Because you matter of fact, we gonna let you in, most definitely for sure. But we just gonna break bread together first and foremost. We're gonna do that about 6 o'clock, and then after that we're gonna have our panels to come up and talk. And then I'm gonna get up there and say a little something. I'm just gonna be very transparent about what's been going on in my life, and allowing people to know that it's okay to cry out for help. And I just want to encourage people to be their best. You know what I mean? That's it.
And I want to add, I ain't even told them this, but I thought about this, is that, we talk about, you got the church in walls and the church without walls. And so for those people that's on the outside, the church without walls, whether it's mob, synagogue, we ain't tripping. You can call it temple, you call it what you want to, you call it the hood, that's a church too. But that I would like to see us take this message, man, to maybe all of the sinners outside during the summer. I really would. Church without walls, and that's what I want to call it. I would like to see us do this and maybe go feed them hot dogs or something, go to DeSoto, go to Arlington, go to these community schools we supposed to have, community centers we supposed to have, go to these centers and do something outside and invite the community. Because one of the things I've learned by working in Columbus, and I like Columbus, right? One of the things I learned, and they're middle class, I don't know what they're crying about, y'all gotta make it, but we not middle class. But sometimes you gotta take the message to people. That's why I love the Gym City. But we might have to go downtown in front of the hub.
You ain't said nothing wrong,
we might
brother.
have to go in front of the juvenile prison, right? I'm calling the prison because that's what it leads to if you don't get out of there. You go from juvie to prison. Catch 22, y'all pay attention. They're turning you into career criminals, right? Amateur criminal, professional, then career, rites of passage. Like for us to be able to take this message, because one of the reasons that y'all know I hate panels, I hate doing this. It's just not something I like to do. I do it because it's needed. But when you share this team with me, because honestly I didn't really want to do. I don't want to do this. My brother Sean love this kind of mob. They love this shit. They think, read 10 books, talk. Yeah, I can do it. I don't want to do it. I want to be right there in the mix of the people. I just don't want to do it. But I thought about this group, and I know what we've been through. We need to let brothers know that. So, one of the things I say, we're hope pushers. We're not dope pushers. We God pleasers, we not crowd pleasers, right? And as a hope pushers, we just pushing hope, right? We don't need all your other stuff that you had, right? We're gonna push hope whether you want us to or you don't. You can't pay me for pushing hope, because hope is a part of my makeup. It's a part of my DNA. I'm a proud African. Wasn't born in Africa, but the African's on the inside of me, right? And so I owe this community how reckless I was in the July 770s. Woo, I can't believe, was that me, Father God? Right? Oh, Mother God. So I'm just saying, I was reckless, and to see that the work that I've been able to do, and I know that younger brothers like them can even do more, that's the exciting piece for me.
For sure. So, I actually had the luxury of being at your elders ceremony. It was super dope.
Thank you for that.
Also, I'm dropping that on Juneteenth. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna put it in the flyer for the for your event coming up, right? With the Black Culture Festival. You want to give us a little bit of that?
Yeah, Dayton African American Culture Festival. That was the last meeting I was at, August 20th and the 21st. And for those people that got something different, the theme this year is Afrofuturism. That's how we doing it. So if you got something different, a different angle, give me a call. We're trying to do it all. For my sister Shondell, what she doing, we are trying to do it all, and we want your ideas. Please, I don't care what nobody else tell you. I'm the president. If you don't like the response you're getting from other people, call me, because we want to make sure that we're creative, and we want to make sure our entire community is represented by any positive means necessary. Right. So you are welcome. Don't tell me, I don't care what they say. You're welcome.
Exactly. So that's a great segue, because I'm saying, like I said before with my Hasalasia, our shared future, right? Our shared future. It's also going to be in the metaverse, right, SMED? Our shared future in the metaverse, right? So we're still talking about the whole thing of anxiety. We're talking about generational curses, which is wealth also, right? So we're on the forefront of the very next big change. And I'm telling you before, this is the same thing as like web, when you first had a .com era, right? I remember somebody saying, "Oh, it's stupid. Why am I gonna make a online business when people are coming in the door?" Then now that done ran out. But the next frontier of that is Web 3.0, which is the metaverse, and also one of the best stores in the metaverse is.
My store. I mean, it's for somebody else to say something like that, but I do think that it's just some opportunities involved. These things got to roll out, though. Like right now, we're at the baby stages of it. So I think if you have faith in these things to come through, they'll manifest themselves.
For sure.
Like, you know, it don't matter what it is that we believe that we can come up off of. If you go towards that and you believe it to be true, these things will unfold for you.
Yes.
Things are going to materialize for you based on your level of belief. And these things work like with the most like regular things. So for example, the other day they had a food truck rally downtown, or like at the Masonic Temple.
Oh yeah.
Tay Winston.
So man, listen, bro, it was so packed, right? Yeah. But I do this exercise where I say I'm gonna get the best space in the whole place, and I don't care what the situation is. If it's 1 million people there, I will get the very first parking space that's right there next to the front door. And so Pete said, "Bro, you gonna have to park 1,000,000 miles away." I said, "Nah, bro, I'm gonna pull up and get the best space right there, no problem." I said, "I do it all the time." He was like, "All right, bro, I'm trying to tell you."
I had to walk 2 blocks to get there. I'm like, bro.
The person, this works for all of us. I'm nobody special, but just try it, okay? All you have to do is just say, "I'm going to get the best space available," and then just believe it to be so. And the person who's parked in the space that you want is only holding that space for you. And when you get there, they're going to move out of your way, and you're going to pull into the parking space that you want.
I believe
it happens every time.
I believe you.
So,
it happens every time. So
I'm gonna back it up. I'm also gonna back it up with a little bit of something I read, which is the book called The Alchemist. Everybody go read this book. If you are a dreamer, read this book, right? And it says that it's in the universe's best interest to appease whatever you want. And I remember him telling me that. I was like, man, I just read that book the day before. So I said, man, that sounds like that book I read. So the very next Monday.
Well, before that happened, I pulled up to this place and it was jam-packed, bumper to bumper parking spaces, like ridiculous. And I said, dang, you know what? I'm going to get this best space. It has to happen. And so I went down this side of the block. By the time I turned around, I seen the lady walk into the very best spot. I said, oh, there she go. She hold my place. Got in her car, put it in reverse, moved out, parked in it couldn't have been a better parking space available. Yeah. But this
story, I wouldn't.
Happens every time that you try it. And that's what you, Terry, have been saying, Marlon is saying, bro, like anything that we really believe to be so, it will unfold for us. And it takes faith, because the faith part about it is I could have, like when I was driving down this side of the street and I didn't see anything available, I could have said, all right, bet, let me just go ahead and find somewhere to park, and drove down. But I said, no, I'm going to get the best space. And that faith just made me turn the corner and come back around to the better spots. And it just opened up. And some of this stuff seems like it's mystical, spooky stuff, but
no, it's not. Look,
well, I'm just you did.
No, I'm about to tell you what happened that Monday. You cut me off.
Right. Well, you cut me off.
You keep talking about the damn parking space. Come on, man. You got the.
Right. But
I'm being silly.
No, I'm just saying, like just throughout all of our conversations. I just been listening to the common denominator for all of us and talking about how we overcome things and what we do. And this is before I met you guys, but like the morning meditation, the morning visualization, man, all of these things work so well.
Facts.
But the problem is the consistency of doing these things, because like, let's say that I'm doing it, right? It doesn't necessarily happen immediately. It might take, let's say, a couple of days for the thing that I'm looking for to manifest, right? But the problem is, like, when you get hot, you feel like you don't need to do these things anymore because you're rolling.
That's real.
And
That's real.
you stop doing it. But then the stopping of doing the things that work for you, though, that stoppage starts to manifest itself too. And you're like, dang, I was rolling. What happened? You're like, oh, man, I went away. I thought I had it now. I thought I could take the training wheels off. But no, this practice of meditation, this practice of visualizing, you know.
And to add to that, and having prayer warriors.
Right.
People that even pray. Like, I have a few. I'll shout out one. I have two. Reverend Peavy. So Reverend Peavy, when I'm going through something, she's always praying for me, and it's funny because I can feel her prayers. I can literally feel Reverend Peavy is praying for me. So having prayer warriors, and when I teach young people, people used to say, well, Nation of Islam, they pray 6-7 times a day. I said, that's great. I tell them to pray before a test, after a test, in the middle of the test, and also they taught us wrong in a lot of churches. They taught us when you get on your knees and you pray, it's okay, and you get up, and then you get up and say, I hope it come true. I teach some people, no, when you pray and when you get up, you are claiming it.
Yeah.
You are claiming it. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
And when you pray, God says yes, no, and they didn't wait on the Lord. But you've got to know that. So you're giving it to God, and now you're up under God's will for your life. That's what you do when you pulling up in those spaces. You're claiming that space,
right?
And you've got the faith that it's going to happen,
right?
You know, so I just think that's that whole thing. I mean, faith over fear.
A bigger example of that is just this whole place that we're sitting in right now.
Come on,
Right.
Like, it's the same exact principle, man. I wanted this building so bad, bro. Like, before I got it, I came down here, I looked in the windows, I visualized how I would have it set up. I came down here every day. One day I had a hoodie on and came down here and was looking at looking in the windows. It was an abandoned building at that point. A lady didn't know who I was. She rolled up and was like, hey, what are you doing there? She thought I was about to try to break in this place. And I was thinking to myself, nah. I told her, I said, nah, this is my store. I told her that. And so, like, the same thing with the parking space, the same thing with just vision, act, next you attract. Vision plus action equals attraction. This right here, this picture that I got, right? This is really a Rite Aid, and I redesigned it to say T-Shirt Kings. And I did this like 10 years ago because I said I'm going to buy a Rite Aid. And so as the Most High would have it, he put me across the street from the thing that I had been visualizing all this time just to get a proper, real view of what I could be at. And then being content with what I have right now, like this is good enough to be honest. But still, the Most High, as I expand, like, man, I fill this place up so quick, man, I've outgrown this space. Outgrow your present place. And it's like right there. So now all I'm waiting for is for Rite Aid to say, we're done with this place. You know, I don't got the money to buy it right now, but as soon as they get ready to move out,
It's bloom where you're planted.
right?
And if you're faithful over a few things, God will rule over many.
That's
Man.
right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jabez prayer.
Speak it into existence, baby.
Expand
No
my
doubt.
territory. He will expand your territory.
Man. So while he tell y'all about his extravagant story of like getting that parking space, let me tell you what he said, right? So he said it to me while I'm there, and I'm leaving there, and I'm like, yeah, right. It's right there. I'm like, hey, this really worked. So the very next day when I went to do that golf outing with Fox Sports Ohio, I went up that day, I said, I'm going to win a trophy. My son thought I was BS and I was jiving. I went out there and I won, bro.
Hey.
Right.
And I was like, the two people who don't know each other take the same thing is probably the truth.
Yeah.
So, man, like, I want to say, man, thank all of y'all on this because I know all of y'all individually, I just met you today, but I know all y'all individually, and for all of y'all to be saying that, I hope somebody at home got the bird's eye view of what I just heard. This is this master work, man, of the creator, man, because you have different stories that all intermingle to our shared future, man. And you can start that journey tomorrow at
the Gem City Market tomorrow from 6 to 8 o'clock.
Gem
Look
City
forward to
Market.
seeing you.
Yes,
We're going to
sir.
have a ball, man.
Yes, sir. Man, you pay some bills, man?
Yes, sir. She's for breakfast. Agnes Out Natural Grill for lunch. If you're ever injured, call attorney Michael Wright. TheShopArea.com is like the baby Amazon. Delivery is always free from the store to your door in 4 business days. When you want to get lit a little bit, get you some good old Kiara wine. contact Antoine Cunningham on Facebook, or you can pick it up at More for Less. We're at T-Shirt Kings, tshirtkings247.com. Gold for your mouth in the metaverse. And my brother Peanut Johnson teach you how to get a big old bag from investing your money the right way. Sell stocks not dope every Sunday on the Dash Resource channel. Like, subscribe, ring the bell notification so you can get alerted every time we drop content.
So let's get some of y'all contact information out there so we can contact y'all whenever they want to reach y'all. We can go from left to right, right to left, whatever way I want to do it.
It don't matter, but I'm going to shoot this address out. I keep on saying Gem City Market, but that's 324 Salem Avenue for the people that don't know where Gem City Market is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which way?
Marlon Shackelford. It's probably good to call me. My email is peaceambassadorsdayton, one word, peaceambassadorsdayton@gmail.com. But my number is 937-475-2707.
All right, Tony Gibson, Facebook page, Tony Gibson, phone number 937-672-1774. I didn't mention earlier, but I got PSOP, Spot On Painting. Give me a call if you need any painting done. I'm the man with the plan. I'll make it happen.
I'm Randall. My Facebook is Randall B. Moore the Third. It's RANDLE B. Moore the Third. Instagram handles and Twitter handles are MOE_models. Mo models. 937-369-7717. Just don't call after 11. No, dead ass.
Those are called firm boundaries that you said.
Yeah.
It's Terry Hill, Recovery Street Central. You are in need of mental health and/or substance abuse counseling. Give me an email at rstreet4130@gmail.com, or you can contact me by cell phone 937-380-2418. We accept all insurances, both Medicaid and private insurances. Also, if you don't have any insurance, that's okay. We will work with you through case management to get insurance. And if you don't have insurance after we work with you, we turn nobody away.
There we go.
So come on out.
Peanut, I have to say this about Terry because I'm sure he didn't. The reason that we have intervention specialists and restorative practices in Dayton Public Schools is a program that we did. Terry led the program, and we got the state. He could bring him in just talk about that. We got the governor to buy into our program in Dayton, Ohio, in 3 schools. That was number 1. Then they came up with restorative practice in Dayton, and then intervention specialists. So y'all people that's working, it was because of our program, and Terry led the program. Whoop, there it is.
That is outstanding.
Right.
Yes, sir.
That's hard, man.
That's all right.
Yes.
So Legendary People Podcast, Legendary People, Legendary Stories, Council Shirt, Council Mercury, Council Not a Victim.
All right, man. Love everybody. See you guys tomorrow. Got Joe Thompson. We got Coach K Sports Corner
For sure.
coming up tomorrow with a nephew home from Spain playing overseas, man.
Yeah,
so y'all
that's
tune
gonna
in
be
and tap
dope.
in 8 o'clock tomorrow. All right.